Okay, we'll have a look. Thanks. Hi everyone. Just made a slight error here. So just getting to just trying to make sure that the YouTube has started up. I'm logged in with the wrong account. That's why. That's whoa. Right. Let's see. Is this going to be what we're expecting? Yeah, okay. So just a couple more buttons to click, and then I should be fine. Great, we are connected. Okay, so I'm just this is just a quick stream because I've got some some other streaming to do. But I just woke up and saw the games and thought, wow, oh, okay, that's quite fun. So I mean, yeah, we left it last night when Leela was trying to win this this position with 3 connected pawns on the queen side, and Leela didn't indeed manage to win it. Incredible defense from Stockfish, and then in the next game was a pretty rough handling of the black side of the Sicilian there. Yeah, another great game from Stockfish, and then we got this variation. So yeah, obviously this is one of my openings, and there's quite a bit of background to it that might be interesting. So I thought I'd do the stream on that. So yeah, let's just go through the opening moves. So d4 knight f6, c4 g6. This is just a mainline Samisch King's Indian, and then the bishop g5 line. And yeah, I mean, this bishop g5 line, I've been playing it all my career, so all my professional career. It's when I started, it was quite unusual, actually. Boris Gulko played a couple of games with that, and I don't know whether Artur Yusupov had already started playing it when I played it. Maybe maybe he had, but I mean, I was really one of the main people who played it, and yeah, scored incredible results. Also taught it to Joël Lautier, the elite French player in the 1990s, and he scored some great victories with it. Had a lot of ideas and enjoyed the positions a lot. So yeah, I mean, c5 is the main line, and yeah, that leads to sort of Benoni type positions after d5, and well, we also played the 6 bishop g5 Samisch multiple times. Well, when I say we, I mean Joël Lautier played them, and I helped him prepare multiple times against Kasparov, and we got hit every time by Gary with a different system. I think he played a6, knight bd7, c5. I mean, Gary found some really incredible things in this line, but I think some things that are still pretty good to this day. But yeah, it was magnificent. That was really a great, yeah, a really great challenge for you know, for these King's Indians. You know, preparing more and more of this stuff, and knowing that you're going to play it against Gary in his prime. You know, I mean, that was really cool. Okay, this line knight c6, I've faced many times as well, and strange enough, I've also faced this unusual move bishop d7 a number of times as well. It's I think it's the reason for that is that it's an English speciality. So I've faced it mostly against English players. So a couple of times against Grandmaster, well, Dr. John Nunn, and also William Watson, and then also against the English IMs John Pygott and Alan Merry. And yeah, I mean, in principle, scored quite well. But I had a complete opening disaster against the Doc John Nunn once when I completely misremembered my lines. But yeah, no, I mean, this is in general, I've played this quite a bit. And what's the idea of bishop d7? Well, let's have a, oh yeah, this was the ending from yesterday. Let's have a little look at what the idea is, because I can show that very easily. New game, paste PGN import. So rook b8 is the main line. The main line against bishop e3, in actual fact, you'd say, against the Samisch with bishop e3, which is, you know, was certainly when I started, that was the only move that people played, and bishop g5 was incredibly unusual. But rook b8 is the idea, and this is, you know, particularly directed against plans with white playing castles, because you play b5, and you go b takes c4, and the rook's on b2. The only problem is that black players suffered a little bit against positional ideas like rook c1. And when you go b5, you sort of get hit like this on the queen side with knight d4 and knight cb5. And c7 gets hit. So black players, yeah, this was great against castling, but against positional ideas a little bit less. So black players, like John Nunn, I mean, he played this, I think, throughout his career. He was, they came up with the idea of going bishop d7. So if you play the positional ideas, well, actually, your rook's quite handy on a8, and of course the bishop is covering the c6 square. But after takes, if you went something like knight b5, you'll have rook takes a2. So you know, this was the idea. Basically, it was directed against the positional ideas. However, yeah, it's less good against the kingside hacks. So it was quite interesting. I mean, I've analysed this position a huge amount in the pre-computer age mostly, and found some very interesting things. So I did think it might be an interesting variation to look at. And one thing really astounded me was that in this position, you know, I mean, Leela plays h4 in pretty much every single position. So, you know, I was kind of expecting a plan with h4, but actually in my test games and also in when I let it run on the Chessify cloud for, you know, 30,000, was it 30,000 nodes or something like that? You know, quite a big amount anyway. Leela was not playing h4. Leela was always playing knight g3. Which was, yeah, really strange, you know, really strange. And whereas Stockfish and Stoveface were both going all in with h4 and queenside castling. So, and Komodo as well, for that matter. So, you know, it was really weird. So, yeah, I mean, I tried it a lot. So this opening in a way was a kind of a little trap for Leela, or rather, you know, something to see. Well, what's happened in the 4 or 5 months since I've tested Leela. You know, I mean, maybe some things have improved. And well, as we saw in the game that Leela played, it definitely, yeah, it definitely saw this idea and definitely saw the plans. The thing was that even if you put h4, h5 into the position and then made this the starting position, Leela was just never playing the g4 plans. That was the really weird thing. It was just finding that those not dangerous at all. Whereas, yeah, I mean, in actual fact, yeah, the g4 plans are hugely dangerous. So let's have a look. I mean, h4, h5, castles queenside. Yeah, and then this is where it gets interesting, actually. So b5 is the most obvious move, you know, and it's the move I've had in all my human games, and I've had this a number of times. And funnily enough, when I started looking at this position with Stockfish, I suddenly realised that I hadn't played the right move order at all for virtually all my life, because I've always played the move knight d5 in this position, and then after black plays b takes c4, then I played g4. It's always the way that I've done it. And for example, I beat the English IM Alan Merry in the following way. H takes g4, bishop takes f6 now, and this, by the way, is the huge difference. This is why the black players get confused, because if you've got the Samisch with the bishop on e3, which is the main line, you know, this position is actually quite okay for black with the bishop on e3. But with the bishop on g5, you get this idea of bishop takes f6, and it's just really huge. So my game against Alan Merry went bishop f6, takes, queen h6. And the key point is that this bishop is not yet developed, but it's emerging at c4, which is going to be rather nasty. Oh yeah, the end of the game, end of my game against Alan was quite nice there. Knight a5 to protect the pawn on c4, stop bishop c4. Knight f4, f5, and you might see why. You might just shortly see why Leela's move in its game didn't come as a surprise, because my finish here was h5, g5. And knight g6 in this position. and obviously f takes g6, hg wins, and after queen f6, which is the only move to defend queen against queen h8, then I actually finished the game with mate with knight e7 check. So yeah, I mean this move knight g6, I've had it in my practice. Not the exact position, of course, but the theme is definitely known. So yeah, I mean this is quite typical. Actually, the reason I think that knight d5 is inaccurate, I had knight h7 was a game I had against the English international master John Pygott, and I thought this was still very pleasant for white in actual fact. Oh wait a minute, black normally pardon me, takes on h6, takes e6, and then I was playing knight e3, queen f6. This was what John Pygott played against me, and then yeah, I went g4 against John Pygott. That was my analysis at the time, and this was a nice advantage for white. Stockfish also recommended later, yeah, Stockfish, oh yeah, quite old Stockfish, so who knows nowadays, but this ending, which was again extremely pleasant for white. You know, this black's getting split pawns, and yeah, I mean it's a nice advantage for white, not clear or anything, but a nice one. But actually, what Stockfish recommended simply was to go g4 first, which you know, again, when you see it, you say, yeah, why didn't I think of that? Because yeah, you know, after b takes c4, I'll just go knight d5. So that would be a much more accurate move order, because you don't actually end up with knight h7. So that was something where I, you know, God, you know, I've just been playing the wrong move order all my life. You know, just played multiple games with this, and it never occurred to me that swapping the moves around would be a good idea. Yeah, those are the things that happen when you're human. Probably that's one of the reasons you should always work with a coach or something. You know, you need that second pair of eyes that can tell you, hey, wait a minute, what about this? But okay, so that was quite interesting, and yeah, I mean the Leela game after knight h7 was yeah, I mean of course extremely interesting. Yeah, this was one of the main lines that this is one of the lines that I thought was probably the best for black. Knight h7, just trying early, you know, to get the bishop out of the way, and maybe you can play e5 then. It's still, I think, a very pleasant advantage for white. It's one of our typical, you know, close center positions where white is better. So that's why I thought, you know, that this would still be an, you know, I felt like a, you know, a 0.3536 advantage for in Leela terms. So I thought, you know, that would probably be fine. You know, worth doing basically. But okay, yeah. I mean, that's quite. That was an incredible game, and yeah. I mean, how Stockfish defended was absolutely amazing. So let me just let's just get that game together there. What? You're not repeating, are you? My goodness me! I've got something to say about this, because I think there's a better line for Stockfish here. But let me just get the Leela game, and then I'll import it into here. PGM. Yeah, so knight h7 was played, b5, and then e5. Yeah, pretty sharp move here. Just it's one of the ideas. c5's also quite played quite a lot. I mean, you could also just go for g4 if you want as well. You know, there are plenty of ideas in this position, but this one is quite well known as well. And I must confess, yeah, I hadn't gone much further in my analysis than this. I just thought this was going to be a fantastic position against a human. Which, to be honest, I'm pretty sure Queen B8 I hadn't looked at at all. But yeah, I sort of thought that I was going to go G4 pretty much whatever you did, really. So this would definitely be what I would have done. This was a great idea from Leela. Again, similar to that to what I did against Alan Merry. But this defense is just amazing that you can just. Even this position giving up the exchange. I don't know. I was looking at it. I was thinking, wow, I would so much rather be white in this position. But yeah, the engines are just assessing it as a draw. And yeah, this whole thing about you just give up the knight just like that, because obviously it can't go anywhere else. And Queen H6, E takes F6 looks really dangerous. This is right on the edge. There is absolutely, Black's really got to play the most precise moves all the way. But yeah, incredible, really incredible perpetual. So yeah, yeah, I'm not quite sure, but this is pretty fraught for Black. But yeah, I don't have any ideas about what would be better for White. But there are alternatives on the 11th and also on the 12th move. So yeah, probably need to investigate that. But what Leela did was was really interesting, of course. Now, what we're getting in the main game is confusing me a little bit, I have to say. But it's quite interesting. So Black didn't want to go B5, saw G4. So well done, Leela. He's sort of sidestepped the that particular bullet, because B5 G4. I can show you some games with that. I'll show you some games in a little bit. But that was just completely winning. So knight A5. Knight F4, Knight C6, yeah, Stockfish repeating, I suppose. And now you've got to think what you want to do. And, Leela. Leela is going for the Stockfish move, C5 in this position. And it's quite interesting. So, yeah, let me just, I'll do it on ChessBase, because I've got everything set up there. So... wait a minute, I've got the wrong. I've got the wrong window there. Wait a minute. Let me just, because it starts up. It starts up in a different window, of course, which I hadn't really anticipated. ChessBase, Stockfish. That's the one we want. Whack. Great. Let's make that bigger. Much bigger. There we are. And bigger again. There we are. So yeah, these were some of my test games that I ran here. 90.5, 90 minutes and 5 seconds slow games. Yeah, Stockfish is on an NVIDIA RTX 2080. Stockfish has got yeah, 10 cores of i9. I don't know whether I did I make 18 threads on here? I'm not sure. I think I was maybe only doing just doing 10 threads here at the time. 18 threads, so using hyper threads as well. It speeds it up a little bit, but not huge amounts. It does but okay, so H4, H5, Stockfish going for it, castles. And Knight A5 was actually Stockfish's defense here. So that's the one that Stockfish chose. And here, Stockfish played the great move C5, which I really liked. Just freeing this bishop, and it's coming into C4. Now there's two moves. Knight H7 was what Stockfish played in my game. But it also, it also mentioned B5 there. Is the stream still running actually? Because something odd seemed to happen there. No, it seems to be running still. Okay, cool. So yeah, C5, and then afterwards, sorry. Just clicking in completely the wrong place here. C5, Knight H7, and Bishop C4, and yeah, really powerful. E6, Knight takes H5. That's why you get Stockfish. That's why you test your games against Stockfish, because this is the sort of thing that you get, and it absolutely hammered Stockfish. It really did in this game. D5, knight E5, bishop B3, and you see that Stockfish hadn't really grasped the severity of it, but it soon did there, and yeah, it was just a huge demolition job basically. E5, rook H6, sacrificing a rook. I mean, it's a stunning game. This Queen H3, Queen H5, G6, rook H7, and well, Stockfish made no mistake in finishing this one off. So, I mean, this move C5 was actually the move that well, this was updating my theory as I looked at it, and this was, you know, I thought this was a very dangerous move. If we look at what happened in some other test games, as you can see, yeah, Stockfish got some wins here. Let me just start it up. I might need to add this. Wait a minute. Copy. New game. Oh, wait a minute. Haven't prepared this very well. There we are. So this was Stockfish against Leela. This was what was happening. B5, G4, H takes G4, and then Stockfish actually playing bishop F6 straight away. E takes F6, H5. And this is yeah, basically exactly what I did against Alan Merry. You know, I'm just the point is, you know, you're opening up, you're playing HG. Well, you've got several threats actually. I mean, if you just played a move like B4, for example, or let's make it easy, B takes C4. I go H6, bishop there, H7, and Queen H6 mate. This is the big threat. So that's why Black plays F5. And then actually, you know, I was always looking at knight D5 and or HG and knight F4, and Stockfish just played it very calmly, ridiculously calmly in actual fact. Just here in King B1, just getting itself ready. Took on B5 just to block the B file, and then started coming in. I mean, it's already at 2.32 there. Rook A8. But you see that Leela's evaluation. Yeah, Leela is kind of oblivious there. So yeah, I mean, obviously, I thought, you know, the extra calculating power would at the TCEC would definitely make a difference, but still, you know, and wait a minute, HG, oh yeah, knight EF4, knight takes G6, rook E8, Queen H2. Queen G5, and then this beautiful move, Bishop C4. There we are. That was it. And oh yeah, I had to stop. had to turn off my computer at this stage after Knight Gf4. But it later played another game and won this very comfortably. So the idea of Bishop C4 is that I think we're going check and was it Rook F1 here? I think Rook F1 was very strong here. Oh no, Rook takes D4 was the idea. That's the one, followed by Rook F1 check. So so yeah, I mean, this was looking pretty brutal, yeah, I mean, we got some there was some other stuff as well. When I played against Komodo, Komodo at slow play, actually both Komodo and Stockfish were being quite clever. Let me show you Stockfish against Dragon. So this is not on fantastic hardware. This is cloud hardware, the game I'm going to show you. But I do it at very long, well, at quite long time controls, 240 plus 30, and I've even run some ones at 400 plus 30. So you know, the idea is just to well, to try and compensate at least a little bit, you know, just with this. But you can see obviously the speed that I get is really very low, of course. So h4, and then both Komodo and Stockfish in these games were playing the immediate knight a5 before white castles. So trying to attack the c4 pawn like this, put the knight to g3, and then play h5. But okay, I mean, you know, it's it's not a move that black particularly wants to play, really. It's just to affect white, and yeah, this was going going pretty well for white. I mean, you're going to get in G4. Basically, Stockfish and both Stockfish and Dragon were playing this line with white and getting an advantage, but holding the draw. That was the thing. Ah, sorry, I've completely messed that up. I was doing so well there. It's just let me just paste into there. Whoops. So take 2 on that one. So both Dragon and Komodo were playing knight a5 in this position to force the knight to g3, and then afterwards play h5. So you no longer have your g4 option. But of course, you've weakened yourself in the center, so white gets to go to play e5 and knight e4. And again, this was from an engine perspective, black was managing to hold it in my games. Obviously from a human perspective, this is quite dangerous. And well, okay, I mean, I didn't think it was super likely that at least Leela would play this. So, I mean, I thought we'd have at least one exciting game guaranteed. But let's go back to what's happening here, because Stockfish is hacking but not happy. So good lord, wow, this is unexpected, I can tell you. Again, you just never know, do you? I thought this was a guaranteed 1.5 half. This opening. So yeah, didn't play Stoveface's c5 move, which I thought was very interesting. Enders is playing g4 here. So yeah, let's see what the PVs are looking like. Incredible, so hard to predict what these guys are going to do. So f takes g4, knight h7, knight fd5. Yeah, this is quite common. Just to yeah, the knight comes round to d5. You're pressuring e7, so d4 isn't hanging. Rook e8. I have to say this. Yeah, this feels quite tricky. Oh, have we got a? I've got 1.02 next to here, but 0.63. So bishop h6, bishop g4. So this is a sacrifice, and then we are, yeah. But here this is it's still a little bit tricky for black, but yeah, this is something that you'd sort of expect Leela to be able to hold together somehow. Somehow the attacking momentum has kind of passed here. What is Leela looking at? We'll just hold that one. HG, knight d5, rook e8, bishop h6. Leela's looking to go e5 here. Yeah. I wonder about that one. That's yeah, I don't know. I mean, just always when I get a knight on h7, I'm always thinking that am I basically playing a piece with a piece down. But Leela's sacrificing the pawn on d6, going for plenty of activity here, and yeah, seems to feel that it's got it all under control here. Intriguing. I mean, that looks vaguely dangerous, but maybe hard to make huge progress there. Wow, interesting. I mean, I would have bet very heavily on a white win if I'd been betting on these games. So yeah, intrigued. This, but yeah, I mean, yeah, c5. This was in Leela's PV, wasn't it? C5. Oh, sorry, I've locked Leela's PV, so I'm not getting it. This move c5 and hitting bishop c4, but it was looking at this. Yeah, this is much calmer. I'm pretty sure Stofi would have thrown in a quick bishop c4 there. Yeah, I mean that would be C5 anyway was definitely a very interesting line, and I said it was Stofi's choice, and yeah, in my test games it turned out beautifully. So I do wonder actually why. Okay, knight fd5 immediately, but it's probably just going to transpose. Yeah, I do wonder why you're taking that pawn on g4. It's not really traditional to take the pawn on g4 when you sacrifice it, but yeah, this is a very strange strange line here. You know, for black, I mean, black's really on the back ranks and trying to survive. But the key point is always that as soon as I go bishop h6, then black plays e6 and chases away the knight. And somehow, you know, black seems to have enough resources to absorb very often. You know, so yeah, you've got to be a little bit careful about that. I'm interested by the fact that Leela wants to play e5 because this was in Stockfish's PV. Quite a way back, and Stockfish was very up for it here, but I'm getting it's rather weird actually. Now it's saying 1.02 here and 0.61 here, so I'm not quite sure who to believe really. Let's have a little look. Let's get this position and then let's put that on. Put that on Stockfish, and then we'll see what it's really thinking. Because I'm a bit confused with that import. That's the wrong one. The wrong one. Come on. PGN. New game. Paste PGN. No, I'm not getting it. Oh, never mind. We'll just do it manually then. So castles, knight a5, knight f4, knight c6 there, and then what are we saying? G4 takes knight fd5, knight h7, bishop h6. Was it rook e8, fg, and then e5? I think was that the that's the line, isn't it? Bishop h6, e5. So is let's have a look. I thought I heard a move being played. It's 102 is the looks like the correct evaluation. Yeah, 102. So Stockfish has gone back up there. So I'm not quite sure why I've got 0.61. I'm not going to refresh, otherwise it's going to look a bit ugly. But looks like 1.02 is the. Well, actually, why don't I just move to this tab then, and we'll have the updated version. So e5. I'm just intrigued to see what Stockfish thinks of this. Whack. So yeah, Stockfish pretty satisfied here. Yeah, I mean it's just looking for this. Yeah, it just likes this idea of playing of taking on e5 and going g5. Looks like. Now it's getting a bit more dissatisfied. I mean e5 is very common. It's just that yeah, it's going to be hard to shift this knight on d5, I think, because if you go c6, then the d6 pawn will be weak. So yeah. But it looks like it's yeah, I mean, advantage for Stockfish. Stockfish is quite happy with its position, but it's not super clear. Let's have a look. What's our oh, wait a minute, looks like my GUI is frozen actually, so let's just refresh it then, and we'll see what that gives. Yeah, we've had no Stockfish just thinking for 16 minutes already. So wow, 20.2 giganodes. Okay, it's gravitated to Leela's line now. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty much pretty much this line that we're looking at. So bishop g7, king g7, d95, and then g5, c6, knight e3, and b5. And yeah, I mean, it's risky for this, you know, this feels very, very risky for black. I'd be very happy if I got this position as white, I have to say. But the pawns on d6 is weak. We've got, you know, opportunities of pushing on the king side, and yeah, nothing huge happening on the queen side as yet. And it's going to take a few moves for that to happen. So yeah, in principle, I mean, I like white's position very much. But yeah, obviously, whether it's nice by Leela-Stockfish standards is not 100% clear. So Leela feels that it can just hold this. Intriguing. This is actually absolutely crucial for opening theory, this. So this is also quite important. But I had expected that we were going to get a win in this line. But yeah, Leela's I think Leela's improved in comparison to you know, well, my hardware and the software version I was running, because yeah, Leela seems much more aware of the danger here, you know, involved in white playing g4 and attacking. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty impressive, but just a bit annoying from the from the results point of view. Wow, look at that evaluation. It's going right down for Stockfish. So yeah, crazy. Crazy. No, yeah, I mean, it's a really interesting game somehow, but yeah, a little bit less just a little bit less action than I'd hoped for. I really thought this was going to be a game with at least one win. You know, that was the thought, because I've never seen so. Yeah, I mean, in my test games, I had well, yeah. Wait a minute, I'll just minimize this window, or even close it. Wait a minute, no, not the right one. Stoveface, I think, whack. Yeah, because if you look at my test games here, okay, some were blitz, but you look at the statistics. It's 12 wins for white and 6 draws. Can I show you that? Well, just take my word for it. It's 12 wins for white and 6 draws, basically. So, I mean, you know, that seemed. I thought that was a pretty good guarantee for for a win at the TCEC somehow, but yeah. Well, it's close. We've got still some more things. I mean, Stockfish is worried about bishop takes g4. And Leela is playing e5, and Stockfish was a lot more positive about meeting e5. So yeah, you know, I mean, I think there's still plenty of play in the game, but it's not the non-stop kingside attack that I'd expected. It's going to be a little period of yeah, manoeuvring when we get, I think, to basically to this position, you know. And as I said, I mean, I like white very much. In this position, in the Stockfish, in the Leela PV, but yeah, if Leela says that it's fine for black, yeah, you know, you can't Leela's not always right, of course, but yeah, definitely needs to be treated with respect, this opinion. So yeah. Crazy. Yeah, I mean, as I said, the position in Leela's PV, I would gladly play with white. I'd really expect to make a good score with white against you know, against decent opposition. But yeah, it could be interesting to see what. There we are. E5 insta move. Yeah, Stockfish likes that one more. I mean, I'm getting on my home fish. I'm getting something like 0.90 there for white. Obviously, I'm at slow speed because I'm not running many nodes because I need some CPU for the streaming. But well, yeah, a decent number of nodes, and 0.90. So yeah, I mean, I think that probably equates. That's a slight but stable advantage for white. And queen's on, king is weakened, dark square bishops have been exchanged. So yeah, I mean, I think there's ooh. Stockfish is thinking that interesting. Stockfish seems to be expecting bishop takes g4, so it thinks that getting the pawn to g5 is a definite plus for white there. That could be interesting. We might end up seeing Stockfish getting more excited. So insta move. Stockfish is getting at times getting keener, and then getting less interested. Bishop takes g4. It still wants to destroy this pawn on g4. But I think we're still really following Leela's line, and I think Leela had quite a lot of nodes on this one. So I guess Leela will insta move knight takes c5. So so that could be interesting. Yeah, I always. I mean, I always do feel quite happy in these King's Indians when I exchange off the dark squared bishop. It just seems to always seems to me somehow that yeah, whatever happens, I've made the black player unhappy. He's not going to have this huge counterplay along the h8a1 diagonal. So yeah, always quite. Yeah, knight takes c5 insta moved. Yeah, Stockfish likes this one. I mean, the whole thing about the whole thing. Yeah, I'm a tiny bit worried for Leela here. I mean, not that the obviously the evaluations are not huge here, but I mean, there's quite a bit of scope for tactics here, really, and really a lot of scope for for things to happen on the king's side. For an h5 giving up the g5 pawn to be dangerous, and I do, yeah. You do sort of feel that if anyone's going to discover them, it's going to be Stockfish, really. So, I think that's, yeah, a little bit worried for Leela with this position. It feels like some nasty stuff might happen, and Stockfish might just be the person to exploit it. But we'll see. I mean, Leela's held some incredible positions in the past. So. In this Sufi, so insta move, moving all the way. Oh, what fun it is not to think at all. Yeah, incredible these insta moves, but yeah, but Stockfish's evaluation is very edgy as well. So e7, bishop e6. Yeah, I don't know quite how fraught black's position is. You know, whether it's where after knight e3, whether, you know, some of these kingside attacks are actually, you know, quite close to working, but being held off at the moment with tactics, or whether, you know, there's quite a lot of leeway in there. Leela certainly does not seem to be too worried. I mean, Leela's not in Leela's PV. We're not seeing any we're not seeing that much attention to extra attention to the king side. We're just you know, here we are, but yeah, I don't know, bringing the knight in. I mean, this looks, this looks good. Whoa, that's just completely lost for black, this one. So yeah, I don't know. I have a sort of a nervous feeling from the Leela point of view that because this king is a little bit exposed. You're facing Stockfish. I'm kind of a bit worried, but the PVs are evolving actually, if we see. So white, black looking just to yeah, but this is still looking quite dangerous, you know. Still not completely clear that you're that you're out of danger by doing this. So I don't know. I think that we're going to get. I think we're definitely going to have some form of kingside attack, I think. Coming up, because I think the black king is quite vulnerable. So especially without the dark square bishop, this knight on h7 out of play. You know, I mean, I think there's enough factors there to keep white interested. All right. Well, I think that I probably need to start getting ready for another stream now, and the game's sort of reached a next phase now, where we're going to have quite a few preparatory moves to get things moving. So I'll probably close the stream here. I'll wait and do nothing for 30 seconds, so just to try and make sure that the stream closes properly. And yeah, I mean, well, hasn't quite turned out to be the complete tactical slugfest in both games that I'd expected, but I think this one's still quite interesting. So I think this one's still got plenty of life in it. So yeah, hopefully we're going to get a really still going to get a really interesting and exciting game coming up here. So thanks very much, everyone, and yeah, thanks for watching, and well, see you during the next stream.